Today's rant is no exercise in nostalgia because the attribute I'm extolling today is frankly timeless. It's called ambition, and in an age of sequels, prequels, and dequels, it's harder to find than a porn star with a father figure.
This game is going to be more blank than fans expect.
More bigger.
What really triggered this existential crisis was twofold. First and foremost, I recently uncovered an excellent podcast from Polygon of all places entitled Ahead of Their Time, The History of Looking Glass Studios. And while it didn't really tell me anything I didn't already know from listening to MIT's Looking Glass podcast series, it was a superlative assessment of the virtues of what is in my eyes the most intrepid PC and console developer of the 1990s. A studio that even facing demonstrable debt and racked with business reversals, never to their dying day permitted themselves to lapse into callow commerciality.
Like, the reason why the game is so rich and realistic in its art design is because, like, you have games today are, and I know I sound like crotchety old dude when I say that, but like the bad games today are because like there's no narrative to the artwork, like there's no coherent idea. There's just lots of showing off, and it makes things feel fake. It makes things feel like they lack history. They were interested in building things that were deep and had a point as opposed to being a novelty. Instead of like trying to get more refined, I guess, and more corporate, like we kept on looking for people like the people that inspired us when we first worked there. That was when the company ended. That was the big sadness for me. I was like I could get a good job and get a better pay and stuff like this, but the next job was going to be the blockbuster video games. And this was a really, really unique place where people are creatively responsible to each other.
How have you gone about crafting the lore for this type of world?
Well, the basic concept that you have this far future world that is populated by these huge mechanical beasts, that was something that just really struck me as being a strange juxtaposition. I immediately was curious about how that world came to be. I felt like I had to get involved in some ways just to make sense of that.
And then there's the equal and opposite inspiration for this rant. The prolonged critical cum fountain that heralded the release of Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it, love it, fondle it if you fucking want, but deny that it's the cynical sign of a boardroom butt-fucking, and you are no longer jacked the fuck into this reality, Neo. From bows to bitches to bitch work, Zero Yawn wouldn't buck a trend if a focus group told him to. But far from burning the game or its fans in effigy, I recognize Horizon as merely symptomatic of a deeper malady, an industry that spins against the way it drives, one built on boundless innovation that, thanks to soaring budgets and the omnipresent corporate cutfest that characterizes so much of top-shelf game development, must nevertheless consign any and all ambition to the funeral pyre of an industry in creative free-fall. To even catch an errant glimpse of anything resembling legitimate ambition these days, you have to dive cock first into Kickstarter and really ponder that for a moment. We now live in an industry so flushed with fear of the fucking new, they are actually asking the audience for permission to make anything goddamn different. And while it's easy to be borne away by blizzards of bullshit when they're flashing every shiny object within reach in front of our faces at E3, after all the pixie dust is settled and Aisha Tyler goes back to being barely an actress, all those shiny shit bricks we're lobbing words like innovative and unprecedented at for a solid fucking week? They were pretty much the same shit from last year with a new fucking hat. Deal with it. Even the numbnuts at No Man's Sky and their more lucid refrains would probably concede that for all the mile-high hyperbole attributed to their namesake largely at the behest of Sony, all they were really making at the end of the day was space Daggerfall. Really, game industry? That's the best we can do. Maybe we're short on ambition because we're short on the requisite visionaries to conceive it. I mean, sure, we have stargazers like Spectre and Jordan Weissman, ironically now exiled to the indie space by a AAA industry they helped build to fucking begin with, but we've also lost a few. Everyone knows Todd Howard, who for what it's worth is a kind of visionary, I'll admit, but Elder Scrolls wasn't his brainchild and never was. That honor goes to a man by the name of Julian LeFay. Who the fuck is that, you ask? Exactly my fucking point! Since departing the company during the development of Morrowind, I believe, LaFay has remained largely estranged from the industry he helped create, even as an original concept formed in the Arena and Daggerfall titles he programmed almost single-fucking-handed are milked harder than the only goat on the dairy farm. And before you dismiss LaFay's influences, quaint or immaterial, ponder the depth of Julian LaFay's now absent authorial input the next time you play Skyrim and pray at a shrine to say... Julianos! And then there's routinely maligned visionaries like, I'll say it, and happily take the shit for it, Peter Molyneux. Hey, I said visionary, not truth teller. Watching Peter Molyneux lie is admittedly like watching Air Jordan drive to the hoop. You're witnessing a sublime creature in full flower, genetically engineered for prevarication. Peter Molyneux could sell a unicycle to a quadruple amputee, but with an industry dick deep in detritus, Christ knows we need a fucking bullshit merchant or two. And from Fable 1 with its erosion engine and plants that will grow in real time to Project Natal's absolutely everything, while the final product of Molyneux meth hallucinations may not yield precisely the product pictured on the fucking box, it's the pursuit of that perfection that moves the industry forward. Sure, he's more full of shit than the Thundercats litter box, and after Fable the Journey and that dick-in-the-box Ponzi scheme, I'm reasonably sure Molyneux is French for Bernie Madoff, but in the ineffable pursuit of the unattainable perfection he brain farts the fuck out on an hourly basis, Fable and Black and White have proven a firebrand, a feature set's now standard for RPGs and action sims on the market over a decade later. So thank you, Peter Molyneux. And fuck you for Fable 2. I'm Razor Fist, God. Fucking speed.
The world needs guts. The world needs power. Show me some blood. Show me some cuts. Show me some scars. The world needs guts. The world needs us.
Does Andromeda contain the line, "We've got company"?
If it doesn't, I'd be surprised.